What does a leadership coach actually do? I'm Ruth Kudzi, the founder of Ruth Kudzi Coaching. I transformed my life and my business, and I'm passionate about helping others do the same. Leadership coaching is probably one of the most fast-growing coaching niches. But what do people actually do who are leadership coaches? Most leadership coaches work with people within corporate. So they are employed by the organisation, whether that is school, the hospital trust, or the FTSE 100 company or the investment bank. They look at their teams, they look at people who they either are in leadership positions or have got high potential for leadership, and then they bring in external coaches to work with them. And often that is as part of a hybrid program. So a hybrid program would be where you get leadership training, and often that is training in what people used to call softer skills. Simon Sinek would say there's no such thing as soft skills, but more in those leadership competencies. Anything from analytical thinking to strategic thinking, to managing emotions, to building resilience, to motivating your team, to inspiring others. Often, those will be the core of a leadership program, and those will be the competencies that will be developed through training, and then people have a leadership coach on top. Because actually, as leaders, we know there's lots of studies, there's all of these different qualities that great leaders have. But every great leader has those in a different mix. There might be some great leaders who are really strategic in their thinking and actually don't have that detailed analysis. That isn't a strength. Or there might be others that are great at inspiring others, but maybe not so good at holding people to account. And we know that a great leader is often somebody who's able to manage a team of people to mean that they can have that holistic approach. So they have that strategic thinking alongside the detail and analytical. So when you're looking at a leadership coach, they often come into organizations as part of a leadership development program to deliver the coaching, to help people think about how they're going to develop those leadership skills with their context when they look at where they believe they are. And this can be great because it helps people to really understand where they are and where they want to be. But equally, leadership coaching, like any kind of coaching, isn't only about somebody's leadership style. It isn't only about what they do in the organization. Any type of coaching, and leadership coaching is an example, your coach will work with you as a person. So as a leadership coach, you may be employed by an organization to go in and help improve the performance of their leaders, or help people to develop confidence to step into a leadership role. But as a coach, you coach the people in the moment about what they need. So you would go into those sessions very much like a session that you'd be doing outside of corporate, and you'll be like, okay, so what is your focus? And the thing is that it might not be about them at work. Maybe it's about their relationships, maybe it's about their health, maybe it's about their well-being. But all of these things link together. We can't see somebody's performance at work and someone's performance as a leader as separate to what they're like at home, as separate to their relationship or their well-being. It's an old school thinking is that you can compartmentalize. I know that I've had lots of leadership coaching and leadership development in a past life, and I used to be a leadership coach. I still do some of it now. And it's very easy to say, okay, well, what's going on at work? What do you want to change that? But if somebody's going through a divorce, or if somebody's got a sick relative that they're caring for, or if somebody's not prioritizing their health, or if they're not sleeping, all of these things are going to impact their ability as a leader. So as a coach, your role is to go in there and to listen to what is going on for that person, and to help hold a mirror up to them about where they need to change in order for them to be able to tap into their abilities and to build their abilities at work. So it may be something completely unrelated. They may be talking to you about their relationship with their parents rather than how they're managing their team, because this may be something that's stopping them. If their relationships at home are not good and are not positive, that may be impacting them at work. So leadership coaches, of course, often have got experience from being leaders. And that experience is great in a training environment. But when you step into coaching, it's about you letting go of all of your past experience so you can therefore hold space for the person in front of you and be fully focused on them and what is going on for them, so they can therefore think about what's going to work for them within their context. Outside of corporates, you often find individuals that want to have leadership coaching. Now, imagine this. Imagine that somebody is just taking on a big job. Maybe they're stepping into their first ever leadership role, or maybe they're stepping into senior leadership within an organisation and they don't feel confident. Maybe they don't believe that they should have the role. Maybe they're suffering from imposter syndrome. Or maybe they just want to make sure that those first 100 days count and that they go in there and they make a good impression. So often you will find people seeking leadership coaching who are doing so outside their organisation because they don't want the people in their work to know that maybe they're not as confident as they seem, or maybe they're scared they're going to get found out, or maybe they're not really feeling that they can be the best leader. And again, this may be due to personal things, it may be due to past experience, it may just be to do with some confidence and imposter syndrome that they need to work on. So a leadership coach will often work with people at those transition points when they're moving into being a new leader, or when they're moving into an organisation, or when they're stepping up to have a senior role. And many of those people will not be saying, especially to a new employer, actually, I want to have coaching for this. They would much rather invest in it privately so that publicly they can be seen to have it all together. Because there is still that idea that if you are a senior leader, if you're a president or a vice president in a bank, if you're a partner in a law firm, that you know what you're doing. But having that coach alongside you will help you to feel confident and competent in those roles. And the third area that leadership coaches may work in is they may work with people who don't feel like they're getting the support from work. In the past, people used to believe that their development would be paid for by their organisation, by their business. But what we've seen over the last 20 years is that isn't the case. So many people are taking on their own coaches, doing their own development because they have a goal about where they want to go. So maybe they want to step into a position, maybe they want to move, maybe they want to be seen as more of a leader. So if you're thinking about being a leadership coach, you have to think about how you're going to position yourself. Now, obviously, you could easily work with corporates and individuals, but it's about your messaging. Are you working with emerging leaders? Are you working with established leaders? Are you working with people who want to step up but maybe don't feel confident? And you can dial down and specialise if you want to niche in, say, imposter syndrome for new leaders or performance for existing leaders. But really, that niching is more of a marketing thing than actually what will be going on in the sessions, because the sessions are very much about the person in front of you and what they're bringing. This sector is growing incredibly fast at the moment because there have been many challenges from 2020 onwards with leading teams and leading people remotely. And what you will find is any great leader will tell you this: good leaders start with good self-leadership. They do what they say they're going to do, which is why coaches can support everybody to be better leaders, even if they're not leading a team, because they're leading themselves. If you are thinking about becoming a leadership coach, I would highly recommend that you come and check out our website, Optimus Coach Academy. Not only do we offer full coach training, we also offer specific leadership development courses. Click below in the comments to find out.